The existential echo, finding meaning in the void. Ever felt a sudden, unsettling silence descend upon your soul, leaving you adrift in a sea of unanswered questions? That nagging feeling that whispers, "What's the point?" It's a universal human experience, and you're not alone in grappling with it. It begins subtly, a hairline fracture in the facade of everyday life. The things that once sparked joy now seem dull, muted. Excitement fades, replaced by a pervasive sense of meaninglessness. This is the existential void, a chasm that opens within when the foundations of our perceived reality begin to crumble. This void isn't merely a fleeting moment of sadness, it's a profound sense of lack, a disconnect between the external world and the internal landscape. Everything around you might appear fine, even thriving, yet inside there's only an echo, a hollow resonance of the question, what's the point of all this striving? The existential void is more than just a passing crisis. It's a fertile breeding ground for deeper struggles. Depression, anxiety, and a profound sense of alienation can take root in this emptiness. It's an invisible pain, often dismissed or misunderstood, yet it's undeniably real and deeply impactful. In our modern world, this feeling is becoming increasingly prevalent. We live in an age obsessed with productivity, bombarded by curated images on social media, and constantly pressured to perform. In this relentless pursuit of external validation, the deeper meaning of life seems to vanish, leaving us feeling empty and unfulfilled. In this exploration, we'll embark on a journey together, delving into the realms of philosophy, psychology, and meditation. We'll seek to understand what lies hidden behind the void, and more importantly, how we can face it with courage and find our own unique path to meaning. Let's confront an uncomfortable truth. Life doesn't come with a pre-assigned meaning. There's no universal instruction manual, no single, definitive answer to the question of our existence. This realization can be both liberating and terrifying, a double-edged sword that cuts to the heart of our anxieties. For some, the absence of inherent meaning is a source of freedom, a blank canvas upon which to paint their own purpose. But for others, it's a descent into nihilism, the belief that nothing truly matters, that all values are ultimately meaningless. This can lead to profound disillusionment, a crippling loss of motivation, and a pervasive sense of apathy. Nihilism can ultimately manifest as existential depression, a deep-seated despair that stems from the perceived futility of existence. It's a dark and isolating place, where the weight of meaninglessness can feel unbearable. Nietzsche, the philosopher who famously declared God is dead, foresaw this crisis. He argued that the decline of religious belief wasn't just a theological shift, but a collapse of all certainties, of all the values that once provided us with direction and purpose. But Nietzsche wasn't a pessimist. He believed that the void, the death of old certainties, was only the beginning. It was an opportunity to create new meaning, to forge our own values, to transcend the limitations of our past and go beyond man, to become something greater. What if the void isn't a disease, but a message? A call to pause, to step back from the relentless demands of the world and look within, a chance to build a personal, authentic sense of meaning, rooted in our own values and experiences. Many people try to fill the void with external distractions: work, consumption, toxic relationships, substances, constant stimulations. But these are merely temporary fixes, superficial attempts to mask the underlying emptiness. The void can't be filled. It must be heard. This is where meditation comes in, not as an escape from reality, but as a revolutionary act of self-discovery. To sit in silence, with ourselves, without running away from the discomfort, is an act of profound courage. Meditation teaches us to observe the void, to feel our emotions without judgment, to become aware of the thoughts and sensations that arise and pass away. It allows us to discover what lies beneath the surface, the deeper currents of our being. Many spiritual teachers speak of the void not as an absence, but as a creative space, a fertile ground where something new can be born. It's the potential for transformation, the opportunity to shed old patterns and embrace new possibilities. So what can you do when you feel lost in the void? The first step is to welcome it, to acknowledge its presence without resistance. Don't fight it, don't ignore it, but rather turn towards it with curiosity and compassion. The second step is to ask yourself, what do I truly need? not in material terms, but in existential ones. What are the fundamental needs that are not being met in your life? Do you need connection, a sense of belonging and intimacy? Do you need freedom, the autonomy to make your own choices and live authentically? Do you need authenticity, the courage to be true to yourself, even when it's difficult? Do you need purpose, a sense of meaning and direction in your life? The meaning of life isn't something you stumble upon, a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. It's something you build, brick by brick, every day, with small acts of presence and conscious choice. In this journey, philosophy can be a valuable guide. Thinkers like Viktor Frankl, Albert Camus, and Soren Kierkegaard all grappled with the existential void in their own unique ways, offering insights and perspectives that can illuminate our own path. Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Meaning doesn't save us from pain, but it gives us the strength to endure it, to find purpose, even in the face of unimaginable suffering. Camus, on the other hand, chose rebellion. Faced with the absurdity of existence, he declared, "No meaning? Fine. Then I will create my own." He championed the idea of man confronting the absurd with courage, embracing the freedom to define his own values. Kierkegaard spoke of despair as an integral part of the spiritual journey. He believed that only by moving through despair, by confronting the limitations of our own existence, can we reach authenticity, a genuine and unshakable sense of self. Psychology also offers us valuable tools for navigating the existential void. Existential therapies, like logotherapy, help people find direction and purpose in their lives. They don't simply treat the symptoms of distress, but rather listen to the underlying meaning behind them. Mindfulness, now increasingly widespread, invites us to be present in the moment, to stop searching for answers outside ourselves and start observing what happens inside. It's a practice of cultivating awareness, of paying attention to our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. Sometimes, meaning isn't some grand, overarching truth. It's found in the simple gestures, the small moments of connection and beauty that punctuate our lives. A word spoken with love, a moment of silence beneath the stars, a shared laugh with a friend. The existential void may feel like an enemy, a force that threatens to consume us, but it can also become a teacher, a guide that leads us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us, if we have the courage to listen. So, the next time you feel lost, adrift in the void, don't run away. Don't distract yourself with fleeting pleasures or empty pursuits. Instead, sit down, breathe, and ask yourself, who am I? What truly matters to me? You might not get all the answers immediately. The journey of self-discovery is a lifelong process, filled with twists and turns. But by asking these questions, you'll begin to make space. Space for yourself, for your truth, for the possibility of meaning. Remember, you're not broken if you feel the void. You're not defective or inadequate. You're human, and the capacity for existential questioning is part of what makes us so. We live in a time that urges us to always be full of stimuli, commitments, things. But fullness isn't always the solution. Sometimes it's in the emptiness, in the quiet spaces between the noise, that we find what really matters. This isn't a linear journey. There will be ups and downs, days of light and nights of darkness. There will be moments of clarity and moments of confusion. But every step, every experience, is part of the path. Talk about it. Share your struggles with a trusted friend, a therapist, or someone who can listen without judgment. Seek out communities of like-minded individuals who are also grappling with these questions. Write in a journal, meditate, read philosophy, explore different spiritual traditions, not to escape the void, but to discover who you really are, to uncover the values and beliefs that resonate with your soul. Nihilism can be a starting point, not the end. It's the moment when everything collapses, when the old structures of meaning crumble, but it's also the moment when you can begin to rebuild, to create something new and authentic from the ashes of the past. Remember, the meaning of life is not something to grab, to possess, to control. It's something you live, something you embody, something you create through your actions and choices. Live each day with presence, with awareness, with intention. Cultivate kindness, both towards yourself and towards others. Embrace freedom. The freedom to be yourself, to express your unique gifts, to live in accordance with your values. You are the question, the seeker, the one who yearns for meaning. But you are also the answer, the creator, the one who has the power to shape your own destiny. Don't be afraid of the void. Sometimes, only in the silence, in the stillness, can you hear the truth, the whispers of your own soul. If this exploration has resonated with you, leave a comment below. Share your story, your struggles, your insights. Send this to someone who might be going through a difficult time. Someone who needs to know that they're not alone. And remember, even in the darkest of nights, light is still possible. Everything you're searching for is already inside you, waiting to be discovered. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope it has provided you with some comfort, some clarity, and some inspiration. We'll see you in the next video on psychology and mental health.